Welcome to the Great British Crochet Off, a series where every single week I crochet something inspired by that week's episode of the Great British Bake Off, and this week was Biscuit Week. As always, we'll not be discussing who left or who got Star Baker. I will be discussing these specific challenges, so if you haven't watched this week's episode yet, this is your spoiler alert. You can hit this little bookmark button here and save this until after you've watched this week's episode. Now let's get to the biscuits. So first they had to do, okay, let me see if I can remember these off the top of my head. First they had to do like cut and bake cookies. So you make a roll of cookies and inside is like a secret design, and when you slice them, each cookie has that design. And then for their technical, they had to make hobnobs, which I actually, I'm American, obviously, accent. I actually managed to find them at a store by me. And so we actually got to eat hobnobs while we watched this challenge yesterday. Today is Saturday, and my family does like a little Great British Bake Off Friday night watch along. And then their final challenge was they had to make like a time capsule memory box biscuit thing. So they had to make a box out of biscuits, and then inside I believe have 5 biscuits that capture different like memories and moments in their life. And this week I was inspired by slice and bake biscuits. So this is my little container that my slice and bake biscuits go in, and you'll see that I have incorporated one baker's biscuit in here in particular. So you can, this is like the little roll that you would buy from the store, and you can open it up and then you can slide out your biscuits. It's probably easier if I didn't have my cake stand. And I have stolen one of my kids' cutting boards, and here we are. So if you are American, you will hopefully recognize this pumpkin. We have like the Pillsbury company makes what I think is a lot of like iconic childhood nostalgia to a lot of people. They do these like, those are already cut out, but they're like a slice and bake cookie, and they come in a tray, and they do pumpkin, ghost, and there's also black cat ones, and I think they do some other seasonally like Halloween ones, and then they do Christmas ones and Easter ones. And my youngest child is obsessed with them. Every single time she sees them at the store, she loses her mind and she has to get them, even though I will bake her cookies from scratch. But these are my slice and bake cookies. So there's a secret because there's multiple designs inside. So first we have the iconic pumpkin design. And I'll cut a couple of these out, and yes, I have a cookie tray here. And you might notice that these actually stick together. That's because I put magnets inside, so it actually sticks together like a roll, and you can actually like cut them apart and put them on the cookie sheet. I used tapestry crochet to make these. I don't love tapestry crochet. I don't love doing it, but it was the best way to do this. If you watch this week's technical version, which is like the behind the scenes on this project, you'll see I went through a lot of iterations trying to get around the tapestry crochet. So here's the pumpkin ones, and then also the iconic ghost design. And we'll skip a few because I was mostly inspired to make this set by Ian's black cat ones. I also have a cat who's a bit of a menace. This is Miss Violet, and one time I caught her trying to drag a lamb shank across the kitchen floor. So when I saw there was a menace cat on the slice and bake cookies, I knew I also had to capture that menace of a cat. So I made these 3 designs. I started with Ian's black cat, and then I did a happy pumpkin like the Pillsbury cookies, and then I also did the happy ghost cookies. And I did a full dozen. So there are a dozen cookies here, all connected by magnets by Violet. And you can stick them together and unstick them again. They're magnetic enough, they actually stick to this cookie sheet. I bet these could also work as magnets on your fridge. Like they work. So thank you, Ian, so much for inspiring this week's creation with publicly shaming your cat. I love that for him. I love that for you. I will see you guys next week for Bread Week, which if you've watched the Great British Crochet Off before, you might know is my most dreaded week, because everything with bread tends to be brown, and it's sometimes hard to get inspired with yarn for that, but we always do. We always make something magical, and I'll see you guys then.